And welcome to Tackle the Board. My name is Chris Exusion. You can find me at Chris Ebom on Twitter and on covers.com. And I'm here with my main man, Russ. My favorite day of the week, Tackle the Board on Wednesday. Russ Reese, Vegas line reader. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I actually had a good weekend. I actually hit my college play and actually went 2-1 on my big ones for NFL.
Nice.
Definitely last year, the first week, I actually had a rough first week and ended up going off after that. So I'm excited that I actually had a good first week, build some momentum and keep this going.
No, absolutely. Yeah. College was a little crazy. I was feeling a little froggy, but that's okay. We're settling back in. College was good the week before. Now, I got a little crazy, but that's okay.
We get like that once in a while. You get a little froggy. You're so excited that
you got a little bit of house money.
Yep.
A little bit of house money. You know how it goes. But then NFL 2-0-1.
Nice.
Unfortunately, we got backdoored with the 49ers and the Lions with a 2-point conversion, so that was kind of rough. But you know what? Let's start off on the right foot, right?
Definitely. Yep. We're going to keep rolling, man. I mean, we had great picks last week. You have a 49ers in that game. There's nothing you can do. I mean, you're getting backdoored. They were up 24 points with 2 minutes left. I mean, you can only put people in a situation to win. Crazy shit happens in NFL.
Absolutely, man. But still a winning Sunday regardless. We're very excited. Speaking of winning, let's win on Sunday DFS. Let me bring our guy in, Anthony Cervino. Anthony, how you doing?
What's going on, guys? How are you?
Doing great, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Crazy weekend in the NFL. A lot of unexpected things happened, and a lot of good players in the fantasy market busted.
Your boy Tannehill?
Tannehill, all of the Green Bay Packers, they didn't show up.
Oh, yeah. Play. Yep, they didn't. Oh, that's ugly. Well, this is probably a good time to take them this week, right?
Derrick Henry.
Oh, yeah. And Aaron Jones. Yeah, Aaron Jones, nothing too. Yeah.
Devontae Adams, 10 fantasy points. This is a guy who was giving us 40 a couple times a year.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, well, I had Saquon, so I'm trying to find anyone that'll take him.
You have to hold on to Saquon if you're in a season-long leagues because you're not going to get value back for him right now.
That's true.
Yeah, my killer was Kyle Pitts. I thought for sure he could have tore up the Eagles' defense, and he pretty much laid a goose egg. So because they decided to establish the run all game, so that was new and exciting for the Falcons.
That's true. He definitely got a lot of targets, though, probably. How many targets do you think he got there, Anthony? Do you know?
Kyle Pitts, I believe off the top of my head, he saw 6 targets.
Okay. I was watching the game. It looked like they were throwing his way, but they just wasn't completing a lot of passes, I don't think.
That's another team, like the Green Bay Packers. Atlanta did not show up to play. Philly punched him in the mouth, and I don't think they were ready to play catch-up.
Yeah. I was telling Chris earlier, Jalen Hurts was probably a great selection to pick because the Falcons, I saw that they actually were the worst, giving up the most passing yards last year. So everyone was kind of underlooking, not seeing Hurts to put them in there. So,
I wasn't big on Hurts coming in, but if he plays like he did in week 1, I have no choice but to buy into him.
That's true. Yeah, because of his scrambling ability. Yep.
So, yeah, he was a guy that I actually liked for he was the one prop I had last week with the over-under with the passing and the rushing yards over 298. So that came in pretty well. Came late, but it came good regardless. But let's get into the DFS right now, Anthony. That's what you're here for. Let's get the good info out. Something I noticed, Jared Goff had a great fantasy day because he was behind and he was getting a lot of points. Is there a guy that we can look at QB-wise that we aren't really looking at that could be a good sneaky kind of play for week 2 that a lot of guys aren't going to play?
I don't want to say he's sneaky. We could throw Jameis Winston around because he did throw 5 touchdown passes, but I think he only had 20 attempts, only 158 or 148 yards, and he's getting Carolina this week. So I feel like Jameis Winston's more of a risk because we really don't know what we're getting. But if you really want to dig deep, Tyrod Taylor actually had a really good fantasy game last week, and now he's getting the Browns. And the Browns defense, they are better than what they were last week. But I think the secondary, which is where they made the most offseason additions, it's going to take them a little bit to gel. And Tyrod Taylor has an immediate rapport with Brandon Cooks. So I could see a pretty big game out of Tyrod, and he's another one who brings the rushing floor with his legs.
Nice. Yeah, since we're talking about kind of sleepers, I'm kind of curious, just finding guys. I was on FanDuel, just looking at some guys that look tempting underneath the 7,000 just to get some sleeper kind of guys. I was going to give you some. We had Henderson, Damian Harris, Najee Harris, all these guys are under 7,000. I wasn't sure if you liked any of those guys this week.
And see, I have DraftKings pulled up. Who are the guys again?
They got to be down there too, though, probably.
So I heard you say Damian Harris. Damian Harris had a big game last week, but he also had a costly fumble, costed New England the game. And immediately after that, one of the beat writers from New England already was reporting that he's going to be demoted. They don't know if New England's going to trust him with that type of workload again. Later in the week, we saw a report refuting that. I'm going to stay away from Damian Harris this week. James White's probably the play in that backfield.
Okay, nice. Yeah, what about Henderson? You like him at all this week?
Darrell Henderson didn't do much last week. It was the Matthew Stafford show against Chicago, and we have the Rams this week. They are playing
the Colts. Yeah, they got a good rushing D.
Yeah. Henderson, I don't think this is the week for Darrell Henderson. The Colts are pissed off. They need to bounce back after a bad loss at home to Seattle. So I think they step it up a little bit and shut down Darrell Henderson.
Yeah, so it actually might be a good week to grab Woods or Kupp because I think they're pretty far down there too.
I mean, all over Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp last year, he was good. He wasn't the Cooper Kupp that he was the year that he tore his knee up. Now he's in his second year removed from that torn ACL. And in week 1, you saw him go ballistic, led the team with 14 targets. My issue with Robert Woods is that he only had 4 or 6 targets. He was out targeted by Tyler Higbee and, of course, Cooper Kupp. So I'm a little bit worried about Woods. If I'm going with one of them, it's going to be Cooper Kupp.
Okay, so what do you think about Higbee, though? Because I'm looking at all these tight ends, and it looks pretty brutal. Besides Kittle and, of course, Kelsey and Waller, anyone else that kind of draws your attention who you would throw in there probably at a low price?
I'm into Tyler Higbee this week. He's a top 7 tight end for me. He's getting Indianapolis. Solid defense, but they give up some production to the tight end. And what Tyler Higbee showed me last week was the fact that now that Gerald Everett's out of the picture, there's nobody to cannibalize his targets or his opportunity share. Higbee didn't score, but he had a pretty big game, looked very explosive, and he's the de facto tight end one. Like people were thinking, oh, Jacob Harris, the rookie, was going to play that Everett role. I don't even think Jacob Harris played a snap. Johnny Muntz, the number 2 tight end, he was in for blocking duties only. This is Tyler Higbee's, this is Tyler Higbee's year. He's going to have the breakout year that people thought he was going to have last year in 2021.
Nice.
So there's a guy that he ended up playing pretty well. It's because Odell Beckham has been out. Do you see another good performance out of Jarvis Landry? He's kind of a guy that I think is going to be kind of chalky, but I think he's going to be kind of a guy you're going to have to play because the tight end position with Njoku and Hooper, I mean, it's like pick your own poison kind of thing. I think they're going to eventually going to start taking more targets away. So how are you feeling about Landry this week?
Well, I believe Odell Beckham Jr. is already ruled out. Landry, I like him more in cash games than in GPPs. He has a safe floor. I think if you're going to go with a Jarvis Landry, you put him into the cash games. But how much is Baker Mayfield really going to have to throw the football? It was the Chubb and Hunt show last week, and that was against the Kansas City Chiefs, and they controlled that game most of the time. But I think they're going to control the game this week the whole time going up against Houston. I think they're going to blow them out. So I don't know if there's going to be a lot for Jarvis Landry to go off. Maybe, a solid 14 points. But again, I like that more in cash because you really need a wide receiver to blow up for like 19, 20 points to really crack profit in GPP.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Is there any one guy that you like this week that you love that you're going to put in all your lineups?
Jamar Chase is getting the Chicago Bears, and we just talked about what Cooper Kupp did to the Chicago Bears. Jamar Chase set the Cincinnati Bengals rookie receiving record in week 1, had a terrible offseason. People were down on him. His ADP was regressing, and he's a generational talent. Missed the whole 2020 season because of COVID, so maybe he was a little bit jittery in the preseason, but in week 1, he looked, he showed us why Cincinnati took him with the 5th overall pick. That's going to continue into week 2, and I think he blows up again against Chicago. And he's only $5,000 on DraftKings.
Yeah, he was a steal last week because all those storylines about everyone was down on him. So if anyone took him last week, definitely made some money.
So should we not even outthink ourselves here? Should we just do like a Cowboys Chargers stack and just try and get as many points as possible? What are you thinking over here, Anthony?
It's going to be a shootout. Now, DeMarcus Lawrence, and this is more for Justin Herbert's end. DeMarcus Lawrence, he injured his foot. He's going to be out for the unforeseen future. Dallas's best pass rusher, done for this game. Justin Herbert is going to have a field day. So you're going to start your Chargers, your Eckler, Herbert. You can probably build a nice triple stack if you want to go Herbert, Eckler, and either Mike Williams or Keenan Allen. We can even throw Jared Cook in there. I wouldn't use all four, but you can certainly use Jared Cook this week against Dallas, who look what Rob Gronkowski, another 30-plus-year-old tight end, did to them last week, finished as the #1 overall tight end. On the Dallas end, I would say, like, look at that Chargers defense and how they played. Brandon Staley, and as long as Derwin James and company stay healthy, this is going to be a top 5 defense. That's their ceiling. But look what Dak and company did to Tampa Bay, another top 5 defense. So I am more confident on the Chargers offense than I am my Cowboys, and I'm a Cowboys fan, but Dak should be fine. They all should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine CeeDee Lamb having any more drops
Cowboys jersey on anyway.
Oh, man.
I was like, that better be a Deion Sanders jersey.
I have a Deion in there from the Cowboys.
Or maybe next week.
But as I was saying about the Cowboys before, CeeDee Lamb had hit quite a fair of drops here. I think he's going to have another good week just based on not having as many drops. Can he have more drops? I don't see it happening, especially in NFL.
CeeDee Lamb's going to be fine. It was Amari Cooper really dominated that game from the wide receiver standpoint, really overshadowed what CeeDee Lamb did and how good of a player he is. It's only a matter of time until CeeDee Lamb emerges as the top receiver in Dallas. Like, I'm all in on CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, me too. I love CeeDee Lamb. I think he's going to be excellent. Pretty much the main story as far as DFS goes, probably, it's Aaron Rodgers pretty much just being just absolutely terrible, not doing anything, just pretty much destroying the Packers in 1 week, it seems like. Do you think a lot of guys are going to forget about him against the Lions on Monday night and we could get some value with them?
I think we're going to get the polar opposite. I think people are going to go with the narrative where Aaron Rodgers is pissed off and he's going to want to stick it to the Lions. And historically, Aaron Rodgers crushes the Lions. So he would be I would actually more either fade Aaron Rodgers because I believe everybody's going to go after him, or just use him as a building block in cash games. But historically, Rodgers in his career, 5,600 yards, 46 touchdowns, 8 picks.
Yeah,
it's over 22 games, but that's an impressive stat line.
Yeah, I think Rodgers will have a good game, but nothing crazy. I mean, last year was just his crazy year, kind of like Josh Allen. They went off and had a huge season. And also the Packers didn't run the ball last week, so he's probably going to get that running game going. So he probably won't have huge stats, especially if it's a blowout too.
So, Anthony, here we are right now. We're making our lineups for this week. Who are the 2 guys at running back and wide receiver that we got to play this week to get us on the right foot here?
We just talked about the Packers, and we talked about them running the football. Detroit last year, it was them and the Texans, the 2 worst run defenses in the NFL at stopping running backs. Aaron Jones went off against Detroit like every other running back does. I mean, look what San Francisco's, B and C running back did last week. Whether it was Elijah Mitchell, JaMychal Hasty, Mostert would have, went ballistic if he was healthy. But Aaron Jones is a must play, and he is on Monday Night Football. So if you're going to be doing one of those single game slates, you put Aaron Jones in the captain spot. You could also start any one of the Kansas City Chiefs, the Cleveland Browns running backs. Now you're going to pay up for Nick Chubb with 7,800. He had a big game last week. He's going to have another big game against Houston. And even Kareem Hunt, if you want a piece of that backfield, but you don't want to pay up, Kareem Hunt did score last week. And he's one of the only handcuffs with standalone value where, you're going to handcuff Nick Chubb if you're a Nick Chubb owner, but you can also start Kareem Hunt every week in a flex.
Nice. Yeah, I actually saw the Texans gave up like one of the most touchdowns last year. And they didn't give up any rushing touchdowns last week, so they're definitely due.
Absolutely. Well, Anthony, thank you again for being on. for the people, where can we find you?
You can follow me on Twitter and social media at The Real NFL Guru. And I do my written content over at fffaceoff.com. That's my podcast and live stream as well. And I do my betting and other NFL content over at the Game Day NFL.
All right, well, fantastic, man. Let's have a nice winning week this week in the DFS world.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's plug some of these guys in this week.
Good luck, guys.
All right, thank you, man. Anthony. And there you have it, Anthony Cervino, the real NFL guru, giving us some good DFS plays.
Great
some off the beaten track for the most part, which we need because you don't want that high percentage. So I'm really happy with what he brought today, Russ.
I know.
How are you feeling over here?
I was challenging him today.
Yeah, it's good. You got to challenge these guys once in a while. They get a little comfortable.
Exactly, right? Yeah.
Get a little comfortable.
You challenge me every time I'm on here, so I got to challenge someone else, man.
Absolutely, man. We always bring it. We rise and fire. We tackle the entire board. And speaking of tackling the entire board, we are going to get right into this NFL card here at Tackle the Board. That's what we do. We rise and fire. We break down all the games for the NFL and then go into some college as well because we do pretty well in college. So let's get into this NFL slate right here. I'm real excited, man. Week 2. I cannot wait. And we're going right to Thursday night. We really got a barn burner here, all right? We got the Giants at the Washington football team.
Yeah.
The WFT is -3. The over-under is 41. Russ, where are we going with this slobber knocker?
Yeah, typical Thursday night game. Just one of the worst games ever they always put on there. So I got Fitzpatrick. He's out now for a while. The public I see is actually leaning a little towards Washington here, which I actually love. I got the Giants here +3. Giants defense, they had a terrible performance. The Giants still have a good defense, though. I see them shutting down Washington. And I love when the public's backing an actual backup quarterback. So I'm all for that. The Giants actually went 4-2 in the division last year, surprisingly. And the only 2 division losses they had were by 1 point and 3 points. They actually swept Washington last year. So this is a division game. I'll take the team getting the points here. I'll take the Giants all day.
I'm right there with you at all. I don't get this Washington Football Club love. I just don't get it. I'm not a Ron Rivera guy. The defense faced a lot of bad teams last year. Henke's going to be the starter. It doesn't impress me one bit. Montez Sweat had a solid game last week. He had 4 tackles, a sack, a forced fumble. But I think the Giants got the firepower. Sterling Shepard's been great. I still don't know if Ingram's playing yet, but if he is playing, that line's going to move. Have you heard anything about Ingram yet?
Nah, I think Ingram isn't playing, but I think Saquon's going to start to get going. They're easing him into it, but I think this is a division game. They're going to need this win. So it feels like they just didn't care about the last game, but I can see him getting a lot more carries, maybe get 15 carries in this game, get them going a little bit.
And Daniel Jones wasn't terrible. I think he only had 1 turnover. And but honestly, his passing was solid. His running was really amazing. The wide receiver core was pretty solid. So I'm happy what I saw with the Giants. I think on the short week, they're getting a good mojo. I know they lost the game. I get they lost it, but you could take positives from that game as far as offensively goes. And this is more than a beatable team, especially with a backup. The Giants are 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 meetings in Washington. Give me the G-men over here. Oh, and I forgot to shout out Mark. He said, "What's up, boys? My 2 favorite guys going on, bringing dynamite once again." I brought it up, but we are such enthralled with Anthony. Thank you, Mark. We appreciate it. We love the support. We're bringing it to you guys. All the info, all our leans, all that good stuff. Thank you. Spread the word. We appreciate it.
Don't hesitate to ask questions too, guys.
Absolutely. The chat board is always open. You guys can ask any questions about any games right off the spot. That's what the beauty of the live show is. Whatever
what
questions
the show's here for,
us,
not
we're going to give you those
for us
answers.
to talk to each other the whole time. It's for the people, right?
Absolutely. It is for the people. You got that right. And speaking of the next game, we got the Saints at the Panthers. Panthers are officially, I saw they were +4. Let me just double check real quick. They are +3.5, and the over-under is at 45, Russ.
Yeah, I like the Panthers here. The Panthers were actually embarrassed the last week of the season last year versus the Saints, so they got that marked down on their calendar. This is a spot where the Panthers, they should have added motivation because of that factor, and also a lot of overreaction to the Saints. Winston having 5 touchdowns, and I think you told me earlier he had like 160 passing yards. So definitely big overreaction. And then the big thing is here, Marshawn Lattimore, their stud cornerback, he's not going to be playing this game. So definitely going to take advantage of that. Overreaction with the Saints. I'm getting points, division game. This is the situation where the Panthers just have to take advantage. If the Panthers want to come in second in this division, the Saints I see dropping down to third this year in the division. This just seems like the perfect spot where the Panthers should take the home game in this situation. So give me the Panthers plus 3.5. I just wanted to add one quick thing. I was looking at all the team totals, and I saw the Saints are at 10.5. All because they won that game. If any of you guys are betting and have that up, I saw it on FanDuel.
Oh my gosh,
take the under.
News.
I mean, I took the under for the season, but at 10.5 right now, these guys are not a playoff caliber team like they were last year. It's an absolute absurd number FanDuel has up there. So take the under 10.5. Whatever you got to do. Put the mortgage on it. I don't recommend
I'm
it.
about to
put
a little mortgage payment on it myself. That's outrageous. 10.5?
Yes, it's ridiculous.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Especially with me seeing the Cardinals, who I was on the fence about in the offseason. Now that I see Kyler, I'm waking up. They're going to be put in the playoffs. I don't see the Saints being in the playoffs. So makes me love the Saints under 10.5 even more for their win total. So,
and that
go ahead.
And anyway, Russ is bringing value, and I think that's important when we talk about these games. We want to look for the best value, and this is the future market over here. So that's very important there. But I wanted to get into this game real quick. McCaffrey's back. He had a great game. He had 98 yards rushing, 89 receiving. Darnold was solid. He had 279 yards with a TD. Robbie Anderson had one catch for 57 yards, but I think Saints is kind of fool's gold, like you said. I love the Panthers here. I think they're a live dog. I think they can win this game outright. If you want to play them in an alternate line, I think that's a good option as well. I was able to catch this at 4.5 at one point.
I know.
I locked that in. As soon as the line came out, I put it in, and I saw 4.5. I already liked the game anyway, but now it's dropping. The money's coming in.
Yeah.
So we like the Panthers there. And then in this matchup in general, the underdog is 11-3 against the spread in their last 14 meetings.
Nice.
So the dog does bark here.
That's what I like to hear. I had actually missed something here. Winston, he's like one of 5 quarterbacks, active starting quarterbacks that have a losing record as a favorite. So he's 7-14.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's 7-14 against the spread as career as a favorite. So definitely not good for him here.
Absolutely not. But let's get to a game that I'm really interested in. I'm a little jacked up about. The 49ers at the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles currently we're getting 3.5. Let me just double check real quick. Now we're getting 3, and the over-under is at 50.5, Russ.
I know you're excited. That's some more of the overreaction. I know, me too.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, the Eagles. Yeah, I like the Eagles this year. I think they're going to win probably 7-8 games. I mean, they could possibly win the division winning 8 games, but they're going to be improved, but nothing special that I think they're going to blow off the doors, Both of these teams I like this year. They're both going to improve from last year. This is a game where I'm staying away from the spread. I actually like the under here. Again, I said the public's overreacting to Hurts, how he actually faced the worst pass defense in the whole league in that game. So everyone's seeing how well he did. And also the public saw the 49ers give up a bunch of points, but they were garbage points. I don't know how much the public saw that they were actually garbage points. They give up 33 points. And the 49ers don't score a lot of points usually. I mean, they put up 41, and the Lions are a terrible team. So I just see a lot of overreaction to a lot of points from last week. So this over-under is kind of imploded. It's at 50. Both of these teams are just known for their defense, I feel, more than their offense. So I think this has a feel of like a 23-20 type of game. I can't pick the spread, but I'm taking the under here.
I like the rationale at the under. I feel like, these teams put up a lot of points. They gave up a lot of points. I mean, the Eagles didn't. They only gave up 6. But I like the rationale at the under. If I had to pick something for this game, I would take the Eagles. I just think the offense looks pretty good for the most part. I mean, as far as the rush game goes for the 49ers, Mozart is not going to be in, so that's going to be an issue as well. It's kind of like, is Garoppolo going to be playing the whole game? Is Trey Lance finally going to get his go? There's a lot of question marks, but if I'm able to get that 3 in the hook, I would take the Eagles, but I'm pretty much just staying away from this game overall.
Yeah, the spread-wise, it's tough. I saw Miles Sanders is banged up a little bit. I don't know how bad it is, so just keeping an eye on that if you guys are looking into that game.
And the next game we're going to go to is the Houston Texans at the Cleveland Browns. And that line is currently at minus 12.5. The over-under is now at 47.5, Russ.
These guys faced off last year. If you remember, the Browns won by 3 points. It was 10-7. I mean, that's when the Texans had Deshaun Watson. The Browns defense also wasn't as great as they were that they are this year. In that game, there was 40-mile-per-hour winds in that game, so that's why it was so low scoring. But again, the Texans last week, they're coming off a 37-point performance. They're one of the worst offenses in the league. I love fading the terrible teams after they just had probably their best offensive performance that they'll have all season. Right. And then they improved Browns defense. The Browns also should run all over the Texans here. The Texans have one of the worst rushing defenses. So everyone didn't see that last week because they faced the Jaguars. The Browns are going to take advantage of this. They lost last week, so they'll definitely have some motivation to win this week, and I think they put it on them. This 38-13, I see a blowout here.
Yeah, I think we're finally going to get our blowout that covers here. I mean, Texans, like you said, it's kind of like that fool's gold with the Saints. We're not going to fall for it after week one. We're not going to get too crazy. I'll get a little crazy with the Eagles because, they're my squad. But, just me watching the game in general. I'm not going to be betting that game because I think that's kind of a tough game to bet. But I'm right there with you with the Brownies. I like them at 12.5. I think Baker Mayfield gets a much better throwing performance. I think actually, when Anthony was talking, I think actually he could be a good performer as well for fantasy, just based on trying to get a much better game. Because this game was not that good last week. But you know what? The Jags still scored 21 points regardless of their terrible play, the Texans. The Jags scored 21 points. Where did that come from? Lawrence had 3 picks. So, that was a hot mess in general. So, the Texans are going to be able to give up points, especially in the air. I think Lawrence had 3 touchdowns in his first game. So, I think Mayfield should get a good game going. And just for shits and giggles anyway, the Texans are 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games in September. So, typically they don't start off real hot, and they already got their game in. So, I don't expect them to cover this game. I love the under as well at 48. I just don't see the Texans scoring really.
Nice. Yeah, it might even be smart to take the Texans under in their points too.
So we're going to go to the next game. The LA Rams coming off that, nice little impressive win against the Bears at the Indianapolis Colts. And that line is currently at 3.5 now, dropped down a point. And It is at 48.5 now, up a half a point on the total, Russ.
Yeah, I got the Rams here. Wentz, he had his shot last week to just show me he can run an offense. He put up 16 points, so definitely not impressed. Just seems like the same old Wentz who just can't put up points. He was doing that with the Eagles in the past 2 seasons. He couldn't even get to 21 points in some of those games. Wentz faced the Rams last year. Week 2, he faced them. Wentz had all his weapons the Eagles had in that game. They had Deshaun Jackson, all the wide receivers. They put up 19 points in that game. He had 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So Rams defense, I just see it again. They're going to shut them down. I got a 24-17 type of game here. I take the Rams.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the opposite side of you here. I think the Colts can kind of hang for this game. I don't think Wentz was as bad as people thought he was that game for the most part. He threw for 251. He threw about 66% with his new team, 2 touchdowns. He did get sacked 3 times. He does have that problem getting sacked because he holds on to that ball too long. But I think if Aaron Donald hits him once, I think he's going to learn his lesson. So I think he might get that ball out a little bit quicker. But I actually kind of like the points of the Colts here. As long as you're getting over a field goal, if you can get it at 4.5, I like it a little bit more. I think it's going to eventually go up to that eventually with all the money going on the Rams. So I'm kind of on the opposite side. I kind of like the Colts there to keep it kind of close, maybe a possible backdoor cover. And I like the under as well, 47.5. I think the defense comes up a little bit for the Colts this game. So I think it's going to be a little tougher game than people think.
Yeah, if they're going to win the game, they'll win the game with the defense because if I were you, I wouldn't be trusting my money on Carson Wentz to come down and with the game-winning drive against Stafford. So probably come back and maybe just cover the spread for you is all that matters. Though.
Yeah, I'm not saying they'll win the game, but I could see them covering the spread, and that's all you need if you're going to bet the Colts there. Yeah. So the next game we're getting into is the new Mac Jones Pats. They're taking on New York Jets. Jets are getting 5.5. Let me see where they're at just to make sure. Nope, they're actually getting 6 now. They're getting 6 points. The over-under is at 42.5 for us. What do we do with this AFC East battle?
Yeah, this is a big spread and a big spread for a reason for the Patriots. The Jets just can't score enough points on offense, as you saw last week. Zach Wilson quoted last week. He said he felt like he got hit by a dump truck last week versus the Panthers. The Panthers, they're an average defense. They're improved, just an average defense, though nothing crazy. Left offensive tackle Becton is out this week for the Jets. He got hurt in that game. Yikes. You're going against Belichick, who loves to confuse rookie quarterbacks. Patriots are coming off a division loss last week to the Dolphins, so they know they have to take care of business in this game. I got a low-scoring game. Patriots winning this pretty easily. I say 24-14. I got the Patriots here.
All right, I can't argue with any of that. I like what you brought there for the most part. I'm kind of, I don't know. I have a feeling this game is going to go over. I know it's been dropping a little bit, but 42.5 points is pretty low. And I could just see Zach Wilson with one of his little pick sixes or something. And I think Mac Jones has a pretty good performance against them as well. So I think this will be a nice game for him to put on some points, probably get into that spot, you say like 24, 25 points, but maybe the defense gets them a touchdown and everything. I'm not crazy about the game, but I would probably take the over if I had to take something.
Yeah, I could definitely. That's something where I would agree with you that the game could probably go over, because I could definitely see just Mac Jones having this comfortable game, and there'll be all the overreaction. Oh my God, Mac Jones, he's going to be the next Tom Brady this week. Oh yeah,
Mac
they played
Jones
the Jets.
Week, get ready.
I can see it already.
Oh man, I can't wait for next week's episode when it's Mac Jones week. I can't wait.
Yep, get your jersey ready.
Oh, get your jersey ready. So let's see what we got here. We got the Raiders coming off a Monday night, a victorious Monday night against the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. The line is 5.5 Pittsburgh, and the over-under is 47, Russ.
I'm down on the Steelers all season, but they're getting put in such a special situation here. I actually like the Steelers. Las Vegas coming off that big emotional Monday Night Football game, winning as an underdog. They took advantage of a secondary of the Ravens. They were missing Peters out for the season, and they were also missing Jimmy Smith. So definitely took advantage of that. People are going to be fooled by watching. What did the Raiders put up like 30-some points in that game, which is absolutely crazy. They're not that type of offense. They're also flying across country in this game. This is an early start, 1 p.m. game, facing a top 10 defense in the Steelers, who will be able to take advantage of. The Raiders got rid of most of their solid guys from the offensive line last season. That wasn't exposed with the Ravens because of their not having the cornerback. So getting pressure, the wide receivers were open in that game. That's not going to happen with the Steelers here. I just see a sloppy game. This type of game actually happened, this situation last year, Chris. The week 2, the Raiders won as an underdog. It was a night game. I forget if it was Monday night, Sunday night football. They won against the Saints. And then the next week they had to travel to New England last year, and it was 36-20. 3 fumbles they had in that game, the Raiders. Just a sloppy game. I see the same thing here. They're just going to be sloppy. They won't be ready. They'll be flat. I got the Steelers 27-13 with a lot of turnovers for the Raiders here.
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to fade a team after a big emotional win, especially on Monday night. If you caught me on the Twitter Spaces over here with Fox Sports The Gambler, not going to brag or anything, but I am going to kind of brag. Okay. I was 3-0 on the game. I did like the over on the game. It took overtime, but it still did it. Ruggs over on his reception yards. He just needed 2 catches to do it. It was a very low number. And I also like Lamar Jackson over on the rushing yards, because we knew he had to do a lot there, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
So those were good cashes right there for sure. But this game, I don't know how you can take the Raiders here. That win, and then there's going to be so much public money coming in, and it's just going to be, I don't know. It just looks too easy to take the Raiders. And our boy Mark's checking in. Love the Steelers pick. Yeah, absolutely, man. This is a good spot. If we can get it at this 5.5 line, below the 6, I think it's perfect. Even with like some 2-point conversions that can happen and everything. I really do like the Steelers here. So I'm going to be rolling with you with the Steel Curtain over here, laying 5.5. Oh,
yeah, definitely. I love that one.
So the next game we're going to go into is Bills at Dolphins. Dolphins are officially getting, let's see. They're getting plus 3.5. It just went up a little bit. And the over-under is at 47.5, Russ.
Yeah, I'm actually taking the Dolphins here. Dolphins were embarrassed the last meeting last year with the Bills, 26-56. So somebody puts up 56 on you. You got this game circled on your calendar. The first matchup they faced off last year, it was at the Dolphins. The Dolphins only lost by 3 points in that game, and that's with no crowd because of COVID. So this is going to be their first home game here. They're going to be at home. The crowd's going to be nuts. It's going to be very hot out there, probably in high 80s, you know. I just feel it's just the perfect spot here for the Dolphins. The Dolphins actually had the third best team in the NFL, only giving up 21 passing touchdowns last year. And all the Bills do, all they do is pass the ball. They just refuse to run the ball. So I think that's going to be costly here in this game. I think the Dolphins win this game outright.
Yeah, I like the Dolphins in this spot. The Bills have been getting some really bad spots here to start the season, going against
That's
the
what happens
Steelers,
when you
and
make
now
the playoffs.
Yep, and then they got the Dolphins now. Miami, just for what it's worth, Dolphins are 6-0 against the spread in their last 6 home games, so that is something to consider as well. And this guy, look at this guy living his life. Vegas Saturday. Going to clear up the sports book this weekend. I love it. You know, I love to get out to Vegas. I was supposed to go out to Vegas a couple years ago. I was actually going to go with my wife. It would have been the first time going to Vegas with my wife. And, you know, it would have been good to get out there and go. I wanted to go to that pool sports book, the one at the Circus sports book.
That thing is awesome. That looks nice, man. Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. Huge screens, awesome pools. So, Mark, when you're there, you got to go there to check it out because I've been dying to check that place out.
Yeah, we'll have to smooze the wives one of these weekends. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah, absolutely. A little quick trip to Vegas in a perfect world, but we'll see.
We'll be right back.
Yeah, we'll be right back immediately. Yeah, pretty much in a nutshell. So, next game we're getting into over here, Denver at Jacksonville. Jacksonville is getting 6 points, and the over-under is at 45. Russ, what are we doing here?
This is a game where I'm not taking the spread here. I'm most likely taking the under here. Urban Meyer last week, he talked about how they can't be having Trevor Lawrence throwing 50 times in a game. So I just feel like whenever coaches say that they throw 50 times, they get more into the running game the next week. So I see this just the clock running a lot here. I think they're going to run the ball, and the Broncos are going to run the ball a lot too because they lost Jerry Jeudy. He's out for probably 6 to 8 weeks. I just saw a high ankle sprain. So the Broncos put up a lot of points last week. I just feel like they'll do enough, the Broncos, to win this game easily. But you're playing the Jaguars. I just feel it's going to be one of those sloppy kind of games. I see like a 24-13 type of game here.
Yeah, this is a game you're not going to want to watch. I'll be honest with you. Even if you're a fan of the Denver Broncos, it's going to be an ugly game. I think the only play on this game is the under at 45.5. Denver's going pretty much cross country. It's just not a good spot. They lost Jerry Jeudy. I mean, this game just screams under this game.
When there's a game that you can't watch, that's usually the game that you want to take the under.
Absolutely. And let me see what I can find on this over here. And just for,
good luck.
For record anyway, Denver is being bet 71%, rightfully so. I mean, Jacksonville looks like they already just quit already. And looks like Urban Meyer already quit. But if you're looking for the under over here for the most part, in this kind of matchup, in general, the under is the under is 5-0 in Broncos games as the last 5 games as a road favorite. So when they do travel and they're supposed to win, they do play that kind of low scoring game like you were just talking about, Russ. Yeah. So I'm right there with you. It's an ugly game, and when you know it's going to be this ugly, and it's not because of the scoring, it's got to be an under game.
Yeah, and it's some traveling too for the Broncos, so it's not easy. They just played. I don't know what's going on. They just played New York last week. I forget if they were on the road or at home. I forget off the top of my head.
Yeah, they were in New York.
Yeah, it was in New York. Exactly. So 2 straight road games, going to New York, coming back, and now they got to go to Jacksonville. So like I was saying, it's still September. It's hot as hell out there in Florida. So these guys are going to get in and get out of there, run the ball, get the hell out of there.
Absolutely. Get the hell out of there and get back to beautiful Denver over here.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the next game we're going to get into is the Bengals at Chicago. And the line is currently, I believe the Bears are a favorite here. Let me just double check here, make sure. They were -3. It's dropped down to -2.5 because the Bengals, winning that game, of course. The over-under is at 46, Russ. What are we doing with this game?
Yeah, I'm just going to let these guys know that there's going to be 2 or 3 games probably a week that I'm just going to avoid. But every other game I'm pretty confident in. So this is a game that I just can't take. Everyone seems like they're back in the Bengals. It seems like the obvious pick. They're getting the points. The Bears looked bad in the night game. So usually I would take the favorite here in the Bears where no one's taking this team. But I'm not backing my money with Andy Dalton at all as a favorite. So this is why it's just nothing for me here.
Yeah,
What do
I'll be
you
honest
like
with you here.
anything here?
No, not at all, really. If
Mhm.
I were to take something, I would take the under because it seems pretty low, and I think the Bears defense comes out and maybe shakes up, the QB a little bit over in Burrow. But that's pretty much about it. I mean, I know Anthony's big on Jamar Chase this week, but
Mhm.
I'm not sold on this game at all. I think it's going to be low scoring, so I'm staying away from that game in
And I
general.
have a feeling that Dalton might lead. Like this could be a game where it's like tied or they're down a touchdown. Dalton comes out, and then Fields comes in and wins the game by a field goal. Just something I could just totally see that happening in this game. They're playing the Bengals, who don't have a great defense. So
Right.
what better? Because Fields actually came in the game last week. So I feel like they're just going to work him back in. How long are you going to keep Andy Dalton in there when? I don't understand Nagy. He's going to get fired this year if he doesn't get him in there. So he better hurry up and get Fields out there fast.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's getting real ugly. Dalton's not bringing anything, and you got to get this QB Fields up and running. And he'll probably be running, and he'll get that field goal, like you said, Russ. He'll get to get that nice little scramble for 20 yards, and then do a little slide, and then get that field goal out there and get the win. So this game just, I don't know. It sounds like trouble. I want no part, guys. Stay away. Just watch the game from the sidelines.
Or you don't have to watch the game.
Well, you don't get a little red zone action because it might get a little wacky, but
it's a 1:00 game, right? There's got to be something else on. No one's.
I thought that. I know. I thought it was maybe a 4:00 game. That seemed like the perfect 4:00 game. But the next game I want to get into is the Minnesota Vikings at the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals are officially laying 3.5 points. The over/under is 50.5. Russ.
Yeah, the Vikings are just a team. They blew the game last week. They don't impress me. They seem like they just don't have an identity. The old Vikings teams these past 2 or 3 years, you would play them. They're a top 10 defense. You're scared of them. But I just feel like they're not that team anymore. They're turning into more of a finesse team now. And that's not good to be a finesse team when you got Cousins as your quarterback. He's not that type of quarterback that's supposed to be passing a ton of times here. So I actually think that Kyler Murray, I just feel like he's the early season quarterback here, like Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson in the beginning of the season. I just remember they went off last year. Russell Wilson disappeared second half. So who knows if Kyler Murray does that. But I just feel like right now I'm not going to fade Murray because I'm always about underdogs. But I just feel like he's just going to keep pouring it on. I can just see a 34-28 type of game. I think the Cardinals offense will just be too much. And the Vikings defense they're not the same. They gave up 27 points to the Bengals last week. So this isn't the same Vikings team. I'll take the Cardinals. I'll lay the -4 here.
Yeah, I mean, it's -3, but it'll probably get to 4 at some point.
It's at -3, really?
-3.5.
Oh, was that 4.5? Okay, I was at 4.5 earlier this week. Okay.
So I'm not getting fooled by the Vikings again. We were kind of liking them last week for the most part. We thought that was a good spot for them to they're getting disrespected, but now I think the wheels are officially off the bus for the Vikings. I hate to do this after week 1. Cousins doesn't look like he has any life to him. The defense doesn't look all that great either. Kyler Murray has been an absolute monster. No one can tackle this guy. He's so little. He has a nice little cannon. He literally was backstepping 5 times and threw an airmail ball to Chris Kirk and just dropped it right in the breadbasket. And I was like, this is crazy. He is just tearing it up. I can't go against him either. I have to take the Cardinals -3.5. It's just, if you can take an over on their points, do that as well because this is outrageous.
Yeah, Chandler Jones went off last week for the Cardinals, and I just saw something earlier. Vikings, one of their offensive linemen's out, and that's who blocks Chandler Jones. So this guy might have 10 sacks in his first 2 games here. So let's see.
Yeah, we will see. The next game, I'm actually kind of excited about this game. Not gonna lie, Cowboys at Chargers. Chargers are laying 3.5 now. Went up from 3. The over/under's at 55. Russ, what are we doing here?
I'm cracking up because I was looking at a different game. I'm like, there's no way he's talking about this Falcons game, man.
Oh, I jumped ahead. I did jump ahead.
No, I'm fine.
This is how badly I wanted to talk about this game.
No, we'll jump into the Cowboys first, but I'll just crack it up. I'm like, there's no way this guy's talking about the Falcons game. So yeah, the Cowboys at Chargers. These are 2 teams I both I like them. They're both going to be improved this year. So taking the spread, this is one that I'm going to avoid here. Got a very high over under, and it's high for a reason. Both of these quarterbacks, they know how to put up a bunch of points. The Chargers, they were in a defensive kind of game last week. I think it's good that they were in that game because now they could just play the shootout type of game this week with the Cowboys. I'm seeing 35-31 type of game. I'll take the adjusted over. I mean, if it's 55.5, I'll probably get plus money at over 60.5. If this game goes over, it's just going to go way over, I feel.
Yes. Absolutely. I could not agree with you more. I think it's great they got into a little bit of defensive battle last week. That's even more of the reason to take this over. This was kind of like what I talked about for the Monday night game last week. Well, it was a couple days ago with the Raiders. And you just sit back, enjoy this over, cash your ticket. I like the 60.5 play because if it is going to hit, it's going to go over 60.5. You might as well get some money, some plus money on top of that. I'm all over this over. I'm definitely going to play this over. I love it. If I had to take a side, I kind of would take the Cowboys just because I think they need to win this game. And I think this is, if you wanted to kind of do an adjusted over and the Cowboys money line, you might be able to make a nice little two thing parlay over there. I might dabble with that a little bit. Now I'm gonna feel a little froggy. You're
hanging around Anthony too much on this show, man.
Yeah, it might be. You might be right. It might be rubbing off on me. I don't know. But I see points. Points are going to happen. That's why I brought up the stack situation with them, because I think either way you go in this game, there's going to be points. And
that's the thing. I like these adjusted overs with the 50s, because when these 50s don't go over, they usually just go under easily. But when it does go over the 50, 100%. It goes way over the 50. You know what I mean? Like that Cardinals game, I have no clue how that game didn't go over last week. That was the one game where you just say, this is the obvious over. But what happened? It didn't go over. But
it was way on
Tannehill was terrible. So the game just missed going over, and Tannehill didn't do what he was supposed to do. There's no way Herbert and Dak aren't doing what they're supposed to do in this game. I just feel this is an easy over for sure.
Yeah, and with all the talk with Lawrence being out and everything, there's a lot of downers on the Cowboys this week. I think Micah Parsons can make some big plays this week, especially. I like the Cowboys here, especially for a live dog and the over and that adjusted over. I'm going to look into that. I'm going to see what happens with that. I'm going to see if we can get a good number there. But the game I just skipped over because I was so excited about that game, the Falcons at the Bucks. The Bucks are laying 12.5. The over-under is at 52. Russ, what are we doing with this game?
Oh, you're going to like my pick here. This is actually the only double-digit spread of the week where I just feel like it's a big favorite team that just doesn't have motivation. So
you know where you're going.
You're facing the Falcons. Oh, I got the Falcons here, plus 12.5. Sorry.
Yes.
So I think the Falcons just can do enough to just get this cover of the spread here. I feel it could be like a 30-20 type of game. Falcons didn't score any points last week. They're not going to get shut down. The Bucks coming off of winning the Super Bowl. Usually the defenses, they lack a little bit in early season. So I think the Falcons can do enough to just get 20 points to put on the board to cover this spread at 12.5, which is a big spread. So I'll take the points.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'll take the points. The over-under, I don't even want to bother with because who knows what kind of teams are going to come out for this game. I don't see a lot of motivation with the Bucks here. They took care of business that week one. It was an emotional win. You saw Tom Brady out there going nuts. I mean, they were super excited about that game. And now this is the letdown. You're like, oh, the Falcons, they scored 6 points against the Eagles. Yeah. Like, Tom Brady hates the Eagles. And he's going to be like, oh, they scored 6 points against the Eagles? Man, these guys suck. And he's going to be like, whatever. And they're just going to just run the ball, la-di-da, kill that clock. You know, you get your touchdown, Mike Evans. Maybe Gronk gets another one, his boy. We'll see. No. But I'm telling you, I like that there, the 12.5. It's a lot. And it's not going to go up.
Yeah, I know. It'll probably go to 13.5, I think. It'll sit there because the people love to do teasers down. So they'll probably get it.
Yes.
They'll cover themselves. So 13.5 will be a great number. I'll take it up to 19.5 if anyone wants to do a teaser. I'd take that all day.
Yeah.
But the Bucks were a type of team last year where they would lose a game and they would bounce back hard and like be motivated. Like I also like when there's 10 days off here. They didn't play since Thursday, so you're off so many days. You're like, oh, I got the Falcons on the calendar. We
for a
killed
while.
these guys both times last year.
Right.
These guys are not going to care about this game. I got to check it out, see who they got next week. It would be great if they actually play like a playoff caliber team the week after. We'll see. But definitely, I just feel like the Bucs will be sleeping this. Who knows? The Falcons could be winning in the first quarter or something. I could just see them being up like 10-0. The Bucs are like, okay, we got to wake up and finish and win this game. They're not going to lose, but I just feel like you can catch them sleeping. You can catch good teams sleeping in certain times.
Yeah, no one's taking the Falcons seriously here, and I think they could just do enough to hang around. But speaking of hanging around, what are you guys doing? Have you guys downloaded the Sharp app yet? This is the app right now. Get all the odds, the best lines, all the shows. You can watch Tackle the Board on there, videos by the other handicappers. And on top of that, we got the Discord community. It's awesome. You get to see what these guys are thinking when they're making their bets. Even Russ and myself, I post my plays on there before kickoff. Or actually, I posted a couple plays already yesterday. I mean, I already locked in some lines. I already saw
definitely.
That I
the games
already.
We talked about, the Panthers,
Yep, I already locked that 4.5 right there. No problem. But I also locked in some other plays as well. So if you join the Discord, you can see those plays. You can get a month free. If you like it, you can keep paying the rest of the month, everything like that. Use the code EBOMB for 10% off, all those good things as well. But hey, it's not just betting football. It's betting everything. It's the Sharp app. You got to love it, Russ.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. And it's all the picks that we talk about on here. I finalize all the games. I'm going to be picking a lot of games, finalizing, putting picks up there. And Chris has taken all the games, his actual favorite picks in NFL and college that he's going to be taking. So guys, get signed up. Just download the app, the Sharp app. Very easy. Just download the app. Everyone has their phone on them probably right now. So just download the app. Sharp app.
It's not that hard. And honestly, you'll find out the plays that we like and the other cappers like, because I post my plays a couple minutes after game time and you're like, whoa, he liked that game and the game started. Hey, if you're part of Discord, you already know. So we got a Tackle the Board page right on there. We got the college football. We got baseball. We got hockey. There's all kinds of stuff. It's crazy. It's pandemonium. They even have ponies, Russ. Ponies.
Whew. Don't get me started. I'll lose my whole roll.
I know. Seriously, I'll be buying the 4-5 exacta box, and it's gonna be trouble.
Baby Shaq, right?
Baby Shaq. Yes, that's right. Baby Shaq. He cashed in at Parks. That was a good guy. But speaking of good guys over here, we got the Titans at the Seahawks. The line is currently at 5.5 Seahawks. The over-under is 54. Russ, where are we going here?
I like the Titans here. They're coming off. They're embarrassed last week. They were playing down the whole game. They were just never in. I mean, it's very tough to keep up with Kyler Murray. This is just a team that loves to run the ball. And the Titans are a team. I said this last year. They suck as a favorite. They're great as underdogs. So now we're shifting gears here. They were a favorite last week. Everybody was betting the Titans. I couldn't believe I almost took that in our pool. We have a little pick 'em. We almost took the Cardinals because I'm like, why is no one taking the Cardinals here? Everybody was all over the Titans. Now they're flip-flop. 70% were on the Titans last week. Now we're getting 30% of the people on the Titans. What a big flip-flop here, all because they got blown out. I'll take the points here all day. This is a high over-under. The Titans should be able to put up points to keep this close. I got 28-24 type of game. Seahawks win, but I think the Titans get the cover here.
So I think it's interesting you brought that up. The over-under being so high. Typically in these kind of games, the over-under, either the game's going to be close or it's going to be a huge blowout. Titans coming off a very embarrassing game. Like the Titans are not a terrible team. They were a team that everybody loved before the season started, and now they got embarrassed by the Cardinals. They're not going to get embarrassed again. I like the Titans here with plus 5.5. It's too many points. I get it. Russ is great at home. He's going to have that crowd finally. The 12th man where they pump in noise. It's not even the fans' noise. They just pump it in there. That's what they do over there.
They're cheating. They're pumping
it in. They're cheating. They're putting pumping noise there. So it's absolutely ridiculous. And you don't get that in Philadelphia. But anyway, besides that, the Titans getting 5.5 points is an absolute absurd line. I'm sorry. That is the ultimate reaction line. You're like, these guys suck. The Cardinals Kyler Murray just did whatever he wanted against them. Tannehill looked horrible. Tannehill will not look terrible here. He's going to look really good. speaking of sneaky DFS, people are going to forget about him after week 1. This might be a nice little spot for him on the road over here. So give me that 5.5 points. I'll take the gift. Thank you very much, Russ.
Yeah. The guy that screws you one week, you just take him the next week.
Yep.
And if he screws you that week,
twice.
You can't screw you 3 times.
Absolutely. All right. And that's all the games for the Sunday day games. But now we're going to get into Sunday night. We got the Kansas City Chiefs at the Ravens. The Ravens are currently at, let's see here. Check it out on the book over here. I'm going to say
3.5.
Yeah, I'm looking right now. I got the Ravens at plus 3.5. The over under is 55. Russ.
Yeah, I got the Chiefs here minus 3.5. This is just coming down to there's always the teams that make the playoffs last year that just get hit with the injuries, and I feel like that's going to be the Ravens this year. That's why the Steelers I'm a little worried about. I took their under before the season started, but if the Ravens start getting hit with all those injuries, I'm going to be worried. Cornerback Peters out for the season, and then Jimmy Smith didn't play last week as well, another cornerback. They're very thin at the cornerback position. That's why the Raiders put up so many points last week. So now you're facing the Chiefs now. The Chiefs offense looks great. The Browns defense was improved, and the Chiefs still were able to put up 34 points in that game. So the Chiefs are going to do whatever they want in this game. They're going to put up points. Ravens aren't known for getting pressure. So like I said, with the thin cornerbacks, it's going to be trouble for these guys. I see it 37-30, high scoring game, but I think the Chiefs take this easily. And Mahomes, he just owns Lamar Jackson here. So Lamar Jackson he doesn't beat Mahomes here. So I definitely love. And ever since Mahomes saw Lamar Jackson get that number 1 player of the year, and Mahomes is like, wait, who got number 1? So ever since then, Mahomes, he took care of business last year. He's going to take care of business again this year.
Yeah, I mean, how could you not go with the Chiefs here? I mean, I know you're a big fan of the Browns. I'm kind of on the opposite side of it because I think they had a really easy schedule last year that made them look really good. But the Chiefs were still able to score so many points on them. In this matchup in general with the Ravens and the Chiefs playing, the road team is 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 meetings. So the road team tends to, win this spread for the most part. And I think they're just begging for this Ravens plus 3.5. Trying to grasp onto the people from last year, how good the Ravens are and stuff. This Kansas City team is going to be shooting on all cylinders. I'll take the 3.5, no problem, and I'll sprinkle the over with it. So more than happy to do that. So that's why I like it there.
That with the Ravens, remember that game we talked about it on the show last week. I was like, I might take the Ravens minus 4.5, but then. So I said, if I see this line drop into 3.5, that means there's definitely some sharp action or these injuries are going to be key. So these injuries are definitely key for the Ravens right now. That's why that line dropped to 3.5. So they're getting value here at plus 3.5 against the Chiefs. That's probably going to go up to 4. I just feel like the Chiefs this is a blowout line. I don't like value when it involves injuries. So that's why I just don't like the Ravens here at all.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Value with injuries is never a good thing. We want our team to be healthy, ready to go. We're getting value with the Panthers. They're ready to roll against the Saints team that had 150 yards passing, and they won by 1,000 points. That's weird. We're not falling for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Finally, Monday night, Lions at the Green Bay Packers. Packers are laying 10.5 for us. The over-under is at 48. Actually, it's officially at 11.5. Excuse me. Went up to 11.5. And the over-under is at 48, Russ. What do we do with Aaron Rodgers?
This one's easy to me. I mean, this is the most talked about game of the week. Everyone down on Rodgers. I'm hearing like conspiracy theories now. I'm just like, all right, I don't listen to all the conspiracy theories. I'm like, yeah, he's out there playing football. He's trying to lose. Like, give me a break. So, again, they were embarrassed on both sides of the ball. Aaron Rodgers isn't like that pissed off guy. So whatever. He just said they played terrible. Yeah, what can you do? He's going to come out here and he's going to play well. They're going to run the ball as well. And I see that the defense will play better. So I just feel like that over-under is 50 pretty high. I think the Packers just control the game. I think 30-10, I could just see a type of game. I got the Packers.
Yeah, I don't think we should really outthink ourselves here. We're lucky enough to be around this range where it doesn't get the 2 touchdowns. I think Rodgers, we all know one thing. Rodgers loves fucking up the Lions. That's his number one thing he likes to do. He loves fucking them up. That's what he does. He just scores on them at will. He breaks their hearts constantly. It's like one of his favorite passions of life. It's just making Lions fans cry. I'm more than happy to lay that money, lay the spread with my money as well. 10.5, 11.5, doesn't even matter. I'm more than happy to take the pack here.
Yeah, the Lions were down 24 points with 2 minutes left in the last game. So,
yeah, just remember that, guys. Don't let the scoreboard fool you.
Exactly.
All right, Russ, that'll do it for the NFL. We talked a lot of good NFL. I'm excited about this week, Russ. I think we're going to do really well. Remember,
stretch for a little bit here, man.
I know you got a little stretch over there. Turn around a little bit. Everything's good. God. But you know what? Join the Discord, guys. You'll get the picks. It's right there. We have our leans. You know how we feel about these games. We got some good lines on some of these games. If you're part of the family, the Discord, you're ready to roll. So join the Discord, download the Sharp app, real easy, the Sharp app. You see right here, Sharp app, no problem. Awesome scene, tons of sports betting. It's for the ultimate sports bettor. So join the Discord.
Right, now we're jumping into college football, right?
Absolutely, man. We could not end the show with just NFL. We got college football here. And I'm going to lead you off over here, Russ. We're going to the biggest game on the board. We know everyone's going to bet it. It's Alabama at Florida. It is plus 14.5 Florida. The over-under is 58.5. What are we doing here, Russ?
Alabama again. This is pretty easy. If we're doing the ranked games and Alabama's ranked number 1, you're just going to keep hearing me say Alabama. So this is going to be another blowout here. Florida taking a step back. They lost a bunch of key guys on offense. They lost Pitts, Tony. They all left. Driscoll. The defense is also taking a step back for Florida. I don't like the defense at all. They gave up 20 points last week to a bad South Florida team. And that same South Florida team, they put up 2 weeks ago. South Florida put up 0 points. 45-0. They lost to NC State's defense. So that shows you how bad that Florida's defense is this year. You're playing Alabama here. Blowout here, 41-17. I just feel like this is just going to be an easy win for Alabama.
So about Bama, we know they have good defense, right? They only allowed both of the teams to score 13 and 14 points. Bryce Young is fantastic. You talked about him on the last week's show. You said how good you weren't worried about Bryce Young. Nope. 7 TDs, no picks, 570 yards passing in 2 games. Brian Robertson is averaging almost 6 yards a carry. Obviously, we know the offense is clicking. The defense is great. Florida is 2-0. The QB, Emory Jones, has not been great. 2 TDs, 4 picks. He's more known for running the ball than passing it. His passing yards aren't that good. And if you're telling me a guy's going to try to run on Alabama as a running quarterback, that's a lot of trouble. And you know what? That's a lot of trouble early. Alabama, they had like a 55-point spread, almost 60-point spread against Mercer. They didn't cover it. I understand they probably didn't take it that easy. They took it too easy when it came down to it. But the Crimson Tide, for when they don't cover, they're 8-1 in their last 9 games against the spread after falling against the spread loss. So not only do I like the spread with Alabama, but I will not be making the same mistake twice. I love Alabama first half minus 7.5. This is it's almost. Oh yeah,
I forgot you were trying to go against me on that Alabama. What the hell were you?
Well, all right. Hear me out. Okay. I liked Miami for the first half only. And the only reason I liked them for the first half only because they had a lot of senior talent, and I thought they could have got up for the first half with everybody being pretty much fresh and ready to go for Alabama. I thought maybe they could have hung around for the first round. That wasn't the case. They got their doors blown off. I learned my lesson. I play Alabama a lot first half. I was being a little contrarian. It was wrong. Let it be. It's done with. Alabama minus 7.5 first half. Love it.
I think you were just messing with me that week. That's all.
I might have just been fucking with you, but that's okay. We got to change up a little bit. I can't agree with you everything.
Come on, you can agree with me. Come on.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, let's get into another game over here. Auburn at Penn State minus 6. The over/under is 53. Russ, I want to know where your head's at this game.
I'm high on Penn State. I actually gave out how I wanted the Auburn under and team wins this year. So this was the spot I was talking about. This is going to be a spot. Auburn's a dog here, 6.5 dog to Penn State. this house is going to be rocking in Penn State. You know, they have the
Happy
whiteout.
Valley, baby.
Bo Nix is quarterback. I just feel like he's going to struggle in this game. This over-under is pretty low, so I think they're going to control this game, Penn State. I can see a great defensive game here, probably 20-10 type of game. I see Penn State winning this.
Yeah, Russ, that's kind of where I'm looking at here. Auburn, they've been playing cupcakes all day. They won their last game 62-0. They've been scoring high points. If I look at what they have done their last 2 games, they've been playing terrible game. They've been playing like Alabama State 62-0, Akron 60-10. They're putting up 60 points a game, and you're telling me this over/under is at 53. This is the ultimate under game. I cannot stress how much of an under this game is. Sure, I think Penn State will probably cover this game, but I absolutely love this under 53. I mean, Penn State, they held Wisconsin pretty low. Clifford, he's been pretty solid at QB. 477 pass yards, 2 touchdowns. We have Penn State with 4 players averaging at least 4 yards a carry for the squad. 4 players. That's a lot of production there. But I think Auburn's defense can kind of control that run offense as well. Funny little note. So I was writing down my notes and everything. So I looked at my Penn State. You know, they beat Ball State. I put they won 444-13. So that was a pretty big win for the Nittany Lions. It was 44-13. But I saw 444, so that was pretty good too.
Yeah, luckily you didn't use that in your references there.
I almost did, but I did not because I'm a professional, and that's how I do things. So I love the under 53 in this game.
444 points a game.
They average 440 points a game, this Nittany Lions team. It's unbelievable. Great squad.
Oh, man. All right, so those were the 2 big games this week. So we're going to jump into Chris. He likes 2 games this week. He's got the first game here. We got Virginia at North Carolina. That's at -9. Who you liking here?
So, Russ, the revenge tour has made a stop this week. We're going to Chapel Hill. We're going to Tobacco Road. My dog, Lulu, is from Tobacco Road. So this is dear to my heart over here. I love UNC -9. You can even get it at 8 at this point over here. So UNC, they had their rough game at Blacksburg. We were playing Enter Sandman. I was juiced up. I was juiced up at my house watching that game. That was absolutely electric. How can you win that game, Russ? There's no way.
I know. Yeah, that was a tough game for them. First game of the season playing there.
That was the best crowd that I've seen in the longest of times. That was awesome. And then that was a bad spot right there. And then they got their Georgia State game to end up winning 59-17. Get everything rolling the right way over here. So Virginia's been crushing teams. They killed Illinois 42-14. They scored 43 points a game before. UNC got back with this cupcake game over here. Currently, 64% of the public is taking Virginia, Russ. People are buying the Kool-Aid. They're drinking the Kool-Aid of the Cavaliers. I refuse to do that, Russ. This is revenge for UNC. UNC has not beat or covered Virginia in their last 4 years. Of all these games, they've been within 10 points or less, Russ. We're getting close here, okay? Virginia has been the favorite 3 out of 4 times. UNC is the biggest favorite they have been in 4 years in this game, Russ. This screams out to me like none other. Sam Howell is the man. He can get it done in the air, on the run game. UNC had a bad draw, I told you, at Blacksburg. That was just no one's winning that game.
It's a good thing that they lost a conference game too. So that's going to make them even more motivated to win this game.
Even a better reason. They lost their conference game as well. And they're going to get their groove back here. This line is high for a reason. They are begging you to take Virginia. Do not take the bait. It looks too easy to take them. I won't fall for it. I love UNC -8.5, 9 points, wherever you get it at. It might even go lower. I don't even care. UNC is going to win this game by double digits easy. And I like the under because I don't think Virginia's going to score that many points. They've been scoring 40, 42 points a game. I don't think they can keep up with it. This is a game at UNC right now. Virginia's been at home, taking it easy. Everything's been great in Charlottesville. Forget about it. North Carolina Tar Heels. Mac Brown, let's fucking go, Russ.
Nice. Yeah, Sam Howell's the man. And then last year I noticed in that game that North Carolina was just down big to start the game. So it's one of those where they're just playing catch up. And I saw that they had some key fumbles where Virginia took advantage and scored after that. So definitely if things just go North Carolina's way to start the game, they should just pull away. It should be an easy win for you. Definitely. So we got one more game that you also like, another revenge type of game. We got Utah State versus Air Force, and Air Force is -7.5 here. Over under is 53.5.
I think they're catching on to my action, Russ. I'm not going to lie.
Line
here.
dropping.
The line is officially dropping. We were at 9 at one point. Now we're down to 7.5. And on top of that, let me add that 70% of the public is taking Air Force right now. This line is dropping like a bad habit over here. So Air Force, they're coming off their win against Navy, who was absolutely fucking terrible. They beat them 23-3. Navy is horrible. Everyone thinks they're always decent. Yeah. This is the worst Navy team I think I've seen in my lifetime. They fucking blow. Utah State, they won their first game against Washington State. They were a 17-point dog. Outright, they won. Outright. Absolutely incredible. Bonner has 533 yards passing with 5 TDs, 2 picks. But that is a lot going with the big game he had against North Dakota last week. They won 48-24. Calvin Tyler Jr. is averaging almost 6 yards a carry with 2 TDs. Utah has 6 players averaging at least 10 yards a catch, led by the senior Devin Tompkins. Air Force, they don't even have a spell pass. They don't pass it. They run constantly. He gets like 20 yards passing a game or something. It's something insane. It's absolutely horrible. They're 2-0, but they haven't been tested yet. Brad Roberts leads the team with rushing with only 3.9 yards rushing. And might add, he is a white running back. That cannot fare well too long.
He's not McCaffrey.
He is not McCaffrey. He's not the unicorn McCaffrey. All right. There's not many good white running backs, so we don't have to worry about that.
It's very true.
Hazik Daniels is the quarterback. Like I said, he doesn't pass. He's known for his rushing. It's all about that triple option, running, everything else that goes along with it. Air Force has owned Utah State forever. And when I say forever, it's like 10 years, 8 years. I don't even know what it is. This is the time for Utah to get their revenge. Air Force has covered the last 6 times. And the last time they played Air Force, Air Force covered a 13.5-point spread as a favorite. Now the line is 8. Now it's dropping even more with all this Air Force money. It looks fishy to me, Russ. This is the ultimate fishy line. A non-tested Air Force team giving too many points. This number is low for a reason based on the past history. I think Utah's a live dog. I know they cover this game. The under in general is 4-0 when Air Force in their last 4 games is falling against the spread win. And the under is also 5-1 for the Aggies in their last 7 road games versus a team with a winning record. I love Utah State Aggies. It's at 7.5 now. I got a higher number. If you're on the Discord, you already know about it. And I like the under 54 because I don't think Air Force is going to do much this game.
Yeah, definitely grab that line now at +7.5 to 8. Don't let it get to 7 or 6.5. So definitely get that in, guys.
Yeah, and that'll do it for us, guys. Thanks for tuning in, staying in. Thank you for all the guys tuning in. I see a lot of guys have been watching. The numbers have been going up. We appreciate that. We love the views that we're getting. We're trying to get you guys the best betting info and DFS with Anthony on the side as well. We appreciate the support, all the views. Keep spreading the word. We want to bump these views even more. I want to go so high I can't even count them anymore.
Yeah, that's help the goal. Help us out and make sure they like and subscribe, guys. Spread the word. Get this out because we're just trying to make more people money every week, and we're going to keep spitting out winners every single week.
Absolutely. And also, as I do for covers every week, I always do write-ups for the games. I will be doing the write-up from Maryland at Illinois for Friday night in Champaign. And I'll also be doing the big event of Nebraska at Oklahoma as well. So be on the lookout for that on covers as well. I'll have those write-ups coming up this week, guys. But once again, thank you guys again for tuning in to Tackle the Board. My name is Chris Ixusion. You can find me at Chris Ebom on Twitter and also on covers. And that's Russ Reese. He's the Vegas line reader. You can find everything betting sports with Russ Reese. Russ, what a show. A lot of fun, right?
Show. Definitely. Yep. I'm feeling very good. I think we're going to make some easy money this week.
Absolutely, man. Let's go make that money. Let's go tackle that board.
Let's go.